It's kind of a personal thing as to whether or not you think it matters that we should be producing scientifically accurate approximations of Pleistocene hominids. For me and Gabriel, it absolutely matters. And it matters for all of the reasons that are important in science, and producing knowledge, new knowledge, that is as objective as it possibly can be. I think we owe it to the public to present things as transparently as possible.
We strive to make it so that it's transparent, that these are models, not just in the physical sense, but in the scientific sense, that they're always subject to revision.
You start with a skull, and certain measurements on that skull tell you some things about the soft tissue of the face. The ears are a boondoggle, really, for people like me who reconstruct heads, because there's not much information a skull can tell you about the form of the ears. It's not true with noses. Naledi had a spine right at the base of the nasal opening that projects out of the nasal cavity. And that tells you that there is at least somewhat of a projecting nose. And that's a human characteristic. And skin color is a problem I obviously have to deal with. When I'm thinking about the skin color that should be appropriate for a specific prehistoric hominid, I look to the populations that are living there today. In this case, I'm dealing with a form that lived in South Africa, so the San people were a good model for me to base the idea of skin color on. The actual pattern of the hair, we simply don't have that kind of information in the fossil record, so I'm making a guess there, and I'm using commonalities in the hair pattern and faces that you see in great apes and humans.
Objective, empirical ways of approximating the soft tissues of Pleistocene hominids. That's what we are interested in doing. It has to be falsifiable. It has to be tested, it has to be questioned. And the reason we're working on that is, I guess it was triggered by what I saw in the Creation Museum. I saw a reconstruction of Lucy in the Creation Museum. And then they presented an argument against forensic facial approximation, saying, oh, look, we don't really know. Here are these series of faces, and, it could be anything. So then it got me thinking, well, how has no one really addressed this? There has to be a strong pushback against this sort of misinformation. So that led to us asking the questions, starting at the very beginning, what do we know? How reasonable is it to depict Lucy with very low concentrations of melanin in her skin, even though she was from Africa? We're trying to tell the story of the past, and we're trying to do that as accurately as possible.